Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Dana White speaks out on Israel Adesanya's DUI incident. Well, when it comes to UFC CEO Dana White, he's relieved that no one's life was put in real danger due to Israel Adesanya's drink-driving incident. It's a situation that's had a lot of people talking, especially when it comes to Adesanya's mental state leading up to and after his fight with Strickland. Lately, Adesanya did apologize for his actions and said he felt pretty embarrassed about it all. But you know how it goes in the world of sports. Once something like this happens, speculation tends to stay. Then Dana White finally spoke up about it after an event at the UFC Apex, and he's hoping that this whole thing is just a one-off for Adesanya. Additionally, he's crossing his fingers that it won't become some kind of trend.
Bad decisions, man. You know what I mean? No matter how many drinks you've had, if you drink, don't drive, man. It's just, and especially, it's one thing, Ubering is easy and all this other stuff, but when you have that kind of money that kid has, get a driver, have somebody drive you, or Uber or whatever. He made a bad decision. Thank God nobody was hurt, him or anybody else, and you know what I say about mistakes. How do you handle them after you make them? So hopefully that's a one and done for him, and he never does it again.
You know, Dana White hasn't spilled the beans on what's in store for Adesanya or the whole 185-pound division. Right after UFC 293, he hinted that the last style bender might be in line for a rematch. And it's a big but, he's been pretty tight-lipped about making any firm decisions since then. It's all up in the air for now, and the suspense is killing all the fight fans out there. Khamzat Chimaev daring quest for UFC gold. Nowadays, he's got his eyes on Sean Strickland, the champ, even before his upcoming fight with Paulo Costa at UFC 294. Now, Strickland just won that shiny belt not too long ago, and he doesn't have a title fight lined up at the moment. So Chimaev is thinking, why not me? Because as you know, Khamzat Chimaev is not one to sit back and wait. Furthermore, he's super confident, believing he's going to breeze through his bout with Paulo Costa. And if he pulls it off, he figures he might as well be the first in line to challenge the new champ. You've got to give it to Chimaev. He's not one to shy away from a challenge. What he means is that he believes this is his moment to shine in the UFC.
Now it's my time. So, smash that guy. Doesn't matter if we'll be that easy or Strickland or somebody else. We're coming for them. Strickland.
Not just looking to beat Costa, he's looking to conquer the entire middleweight division and claim that championship belt as his own. Talk about self-confidence. Aljamain Sterling's straightforward recation on Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera 2. You know, former UFC bantamweight champ Aljamain Sterling gets it. He knows that in the UFC, it's not just about fighting skills. Charisma plays a pretty big role too. It's like the whole package. How you talk, how you present yourself, and of course, how you perform in the octagon. Right, nah? But here's the thing that's got Sterling scratching his head. Recently, he just can't wrap his mind around why the UFC would decide to skip over other contenders and hand Sean O'Malley a rematch with Chito Vera. It's a bit puzzling to him. It's like there are all these other fighters in line grinding and working their way up, and then O'Malley gets this shot. It's left Sterling wondering what's going on behind the scenes. Chito's num6, dude. There's a storyline, Sterling said on the MMA Hour. We signed to merge with the WWE, why are we making this a WWE sport? He added, as you said, champions turn around, they do it all the time, he said. So we're gonna hold you to that, Mr. Sean. You're gonna turn around and do it like all the other champions as well. Now here's where it gets interesting. If Sean O'Malley decides to jump back into the cage before the year is up, then he thinks that Merab Dvalishvili should be the one to get a shot at the title. And guess what? Dana White wasn't exactly thrilled when Sterling and Dvalishvili refused to fight each other. You know, Merab Dvalishvili has been out of action for a bit due to a hand injury in March. But according to Sterling, his buddy Merab is all set to step back into the cage before the year wraps up.
People keep saying we're clogging up the division. We're not clogging up the division. If I'm getting a rematch, that's gonna happen. Merab is next. If I'm not getting a rematch, Problem solved. Marab is next. And then maybe I just fuck off and go 45.
Before that title loss, Aljamain Sterling was pretty much set on making a move to the featherweight division. You see, he figured the weight cut there would be a bit easier on him compared to the bantamweight division, so it looked like he was ready for a new challenge in a different weight class. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love your support. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Chael Sonnen is confident in Tony Ferguson over Paddy Pimblett. Even though the odds might be leaning the other way, Chael Sonnen's got a hunch that Tony Ferguson is going to have a pretty easy time against Paddy Pimblett. Now, El Cucuy is going into this fight as a big underdog when it comes to betting odds, but according to Sonnen, Ferguson has been in the octagon with much tougher competition. He's seen the best of the best, so taking on Pimblett shouldn't be too daunting for him, at least in Sonnen's eyes.
Paddy the Baddy is going to get whipped by Tony Ferguson.
Certainly, Chael Sonnen points out that Tony Ferguson has earned his stripes with a tough schedule, so Sonnen argues that Ferguson has been through the grind, taking on some of the best in the game, while Pimblett is still making his way up the ladder. It's a pretty interesting perspective on the matchup.
A guy being on a skid while being active is a much better situation than a guy sitting out.
You know, the odds can sometimes tell a different story, and that's exactly what's happening in this case. However, Sonnen's got his money on the former interim lightweight champ Ferguson. He's not too sold on the betting line, and he's got a theory. He thinks that Pimblett's year-long layoff due to ankle surgery might come into play here. So it just goes to show in MMA you never really know what's going to happen until the cage door closes. Bisping opens up about Israel Adesanya's DUI, as Israel Adesanya made headlines recently, and it's far from a positive story. In light of this news, former UFC champion Michael Bisping weighed in on Adesanya's guilty plea. While he didn't mince words about drunk driving being disgusting, Bisping also insisted fans not be too quick to judge Adesanya. However, he pointed out that Adesanya's blood alcohol level might not necessarily mean he was completely wasted behind the wheel, suggesting it could have been more in line with a typical night out.
When you see it, the headline, it sounds really bad. And of course, drink driving is, it's a terrible thing because so many innocent people lose their lives. And I don't think anyone can justify that. But I said on it, I said, but when you look into it, it's not like he rolled out of a nightclub, hammered drunk. It's not like he was on a session with the guys all weekend and got behind the wheel of a car. If we're all honest with ourselves, and you know, if we're all honest, I think most people, I know I have, I don't drink drive. I don't get behind the wheel of a car drunk, but I have made a judgment call. I've had a beer at dinner, and sometimes I might have had two, but I think it's been a few hours. I'm good. I'm fine. And I think most people have done that. And I am not defending Israel Adesanya. I'm not, because drink driving, innocent people lose their lives, and it's a disgusting thing. But I think if most people are honest, I think they could probably admit to having a beer and thinking I'm fine and jumping behind the wheel.
Hopefully, this can be a moment of learning for Adesanya. Now let's see what UFC stores for Adesanya shortly. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.